Hi there, Stephanie here, uh, known as watercolor artiste in social media circles, and I'm the artist at midlifeartist.com. Welcome to my weekly live stream, Work in Progress Wednesdays. This helps keep me accountable to keep painting every week. If I only do it once a week, let it be on Wednesday nights with an audience because, no pressure, you know. But anyway, it's not the only night that I've been painting. Um, I have been, I worked, if you were here last week, you know that this painting was a little less developed when I finished last week's live stream. If you can see, currently, I actually did work on it on the weekend. So I did get some more painting done, but clearly it's not finished. So I just want to say welcome. If you're new here, again, my name is Stephanie. Watercolor Artiste is my nickname, and I am the midlifeartist.com. And I have my Rumble chat open in a different window, and I got my YouTube chat in a different window. And I see Frosty's on. Hi, Frosty. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate your support every Wednesday. You are awesome. Did you get my card yet for Christmas? Ah, there it is. There's my husband joining in, Crazy Bear. Thank you. Yeah, and he's the comic relief because, if you can't laugh at me, at least you can laugh at him. And if you're not seeing Crazy Bear, it's because you're on YouTube and not Rumble. Uh, chat chat is where it's at on Rumble. Although you're welcome to join in chat on YouTube, no one seems to do that. I have either lurkers or observers on YouTube, and that's okay. You don't have to participate, especially if you're an introvert. That's all right. I'm kind of an introvert too. I had some troubles getting started this evening. I was in the process of checking my chat window pop outs and making sure those are available for me to kind of look at. I was, connecting my palette cam. I thought for sure I wasn't going to have palette cam tonight, Frosty. I know that you're a big fan of that, but I do have it. So far, so good. Cross your fingers, pray, all those things. Um, because let me tell you, uh, I'm in the middle of, like I said, doing all my connections is about 20 minutes to 8. And I, was looking down at my palette, looking at, what I had. I'm like, oh, do I have everything? And, waiting for some, something, electronic to respond. And then I look up and I see my laptop has decided to restart. And I'm like, no, there was no warning. There was no pop up that said, hey, we're going to restart your computer unless you don't want us to, And I got smudge here. Hopefully, this isn't going to make my glasses worse. um, but so, yeah, it decided to reboot with a Windows 11 update. I know that Windows 11 is bad news, but when when there's a monopoly, so to speak, on operating systems, I guess you don't really have much of a choice unless you want to become someone who knows how to program Linux or whatever. I don't know. I got too much in my life for that. I got enough learning curves. Yeah, I'm going to show you palette cam here in a minute. I got my paints down on my palette ahead of time. And so, yeah. Uh, but Nancy Wake, uh, I worked on her over the weekend, and I don't know if you remember how we left her last. Uh, that's going to give you. But I did not have the flesh tones kind of in on her. I worked on her face some more. I got that, kind of revamped. I had 3 rows of bricks up here when I left it, but they were not the same size as the bricks down here. The husband unit told me, go ahead and just make it 2 rows of bricks. It's still wet. You can just redo it. And I'm like, you're right. It's still wet. I can just redo it. And so I did that. What's interesting is different colors of oil paint dry at different rates, despite the fact that I use Galkid, which is a fast drying medium. I do have permanent crimson, which is what I think I was using in the base for the background, and I had phthalo green that was using for the background of the green areas. And I tell you, the green dries fast. I mean, I was working on this hair on the weekend and it's already dry. This red up here that I applied way back last week is still wet. So yeah, crazy times. So it's interesting. I don't know if you find that's the case for you, Frosty, when working with oils. Um, but hi, Artisan, welcome aboard. And yeah, I'm checking the YouTube stream. I don't see anyone over there. That's fine. Rumble's where it's at. But yeah, if you've got favorite colors you use, and if you find one dries faster than the other, I'd be curious if that happens for you, or if it's just because of I use Blue Ridge oil paints. Blue Ridge oil paints are made by BlueRidgeOilPaint.com out of Asheville, North Carolina, and they're really great paints. I love them. Of course, every now and then I do have Master's Touch, and I also have Winsor & Newton. So, and I got the big tube of the titanium white because, that's what you use. I don't have any blackout. So, anyway, uh, I want alkyd paints. Alkyd paints. I've never heard of alkyd paints, Frosty. Um, you'll have to let me know what that's about. I think it's raining outside. I thought I heard rain. I didn't know if it was going to rain. Alkyd paints. Yeah, I'll have to look into that. I've never heard of those. Can you guys hear me okay? There's no echo. I made sure that the that setting wasn't on this time. Oh, just fast drying oils. Well, right now I am I got well, let me show you let me get my stuff going here. There we go. Let me move that over. There is the palette cam. Palette cam, Frosty, woo! We need like a, there you go. But anyway, I've got all these oil paints. You can't even see it because probably, uh-oh, refresh. Well, I thought I had palette cam. Okay, let's see here. Ah, there we go. But I've got all of these oil paints that I need to use up before I can justify buying more. But I got my paints palette cam going on right here. Yes, sir. It is raining. Okay. Well, thank you, Frosty. Let me since I've got palette cam in my hand instead of up on its roost, I guess. Let me see if I can. So I worked on getting some, because you want the black of the street lamp uh, to come through, and I haven't even done that. I just kind of went on each side of it, and then I got her arm in. I've got her face and everything, but I think I've got some things here that I need to rearrange a little bit. I'm going to work tonight on her parachute type vest. There's a lot of folds in that. Um, since I worked a lot on the background last time, I think I'm going to work around here and kind of get this corner developed. So yeah. And then maybe you know what? I worked on this on the weekend and it's dry. So I could probably work on her face some more tonight. But like I said, I'm going to start in here. And what's still wet is this up here. This especially. So I'd like to get that locked in with its real color because that's the map. Let me show you. So you see it's supposed to be a map. And you can see from my source pictures, actually very muted color. So I am working my way towards that end. And then ultimately, when I've got most of it muted and in the proper colors that I want, I'm going to accentuate the red in her lips, the red on her armband, and then the end of her cigarette, I think. Um, and maybe even the X's that will be on the map up here, and kind of make the red pop amongst the muted World War II colors. But anyway, so yeah, palette cam here. So I got, I think right here, I had that from the weekend, is red ochre, which I used red ochre, by the way, um, as the base for my left unattended painting, which is the painting I did of the chef my husband, Crazy Bear for You, modeled for me. Ultramarine, um, cobalt blue, what's that one? Cerulean blue, cobalt teal. This is burnt sienna, burnt umber deep, and then this is trans yellow oxide and yellow ochre, and then this is Hansa yellow, and of course white. And here's my mixing space, and you can see the reflection. Hello, everybody. All right, so enough with that. I'm gonna plug this back in and try to hook this back up into its static position. So I apologize for all the movement. Close your eyes if you're seasick. Let's see if I can get this to adjust without screwing it up. You know, because I screw things up very, very easily. Now that doesn't want to hold. Why don't you want to hold? There you go. No, that doesn't want to hold up. That's just great. You know, if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. You know, you thought Lady Hamilton's stuff is entertaining, and it is, but you can't laugh at her like you can laugh at me. All right. So anyway, oh, Nancy joined us. Hi, Nancy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You came in when I was mucking around with my palette cam. Anyway, I usually do some sort of announcements, and like I said, my laptop rebooting 20 minutes ahead of time to go live kind of threw me for a loop. So I usually kind of get myself composed, like, okay, what are the goals I want to accomplish? Yeah, out the window in the rain that we're having now here in Northwest Georgia. Um, but but yeah, so I'm going to work on her best. And again, source picture. I'm going to work in this area. Oops, this area. All right. And so that's a lot of muted beiges. So I'm going to mix that up. But what I have been doing a lot of working on I'm going to talk while I try to do this. Yeah, that ought to be fun. Let me see if I can turn this. There we go. At least you can see some of that. I can maybe zoom in. a little bit. I may have to adjust my camera there so you can see the area of the painting that I will be working in. This is always fun. I'm moving a camera. I can't quite see where it's pointed at, but there we go. There we go. But in any case, I'm going to work in here. And you can see very muted colors. And I'm still very colorful in my canvas. So, yeah. All right. So anyway, what I've been doing a lot of, I worked a lot on painting over the weekend. As you can tell, this is in a different state than what it was when I left it last week, as I said. But since the weekend, I've been working on, over the last 2 weeks, off and on, whenever I've had the time, I have worked on revamping my website. I had initially gotten it started back in a day, um, just to get a website going, and I didn't know what I was doing. It's a Wix website, so I was new to Wix. I was new to, I mean, I've made websites before on different platforms, barely getting by. I did the one for the charity locally. I created their website for them using a different platform, and uh, and I certainly didn't know how to optimize for SEO, which is search engine optimization. There's ways to do that, and I didn't know any of that stuff, and I barely know enough to be dangerous, I think. Um, but let's see here, webcam. Maybe I can move this down. Oh, maybe not. Anyway, guess I don't need that. Maybe I can bring this down a little bit. You can see. There we go. In any case, um, I had to learn the Wix platform, and it's not intuitive, especially if you don't really make websites on a regular basis. You don't understand SEO dynamics, things like that. Um, so yeah, it's hey Sharon Wilkie, my friend Sharon over on YouTube. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Good to see you. Sharon is a friend of mine and a huge supporter of both me and Ron. So if you have a YouTube account and you want to go over there and say hello to Sharon, she is a most wonderful, wonderful person. So I appreciate you joining, Sharon. You're awesome. She is an individual that, without me asking, and me knowing, actually, she and another friend, Tony, showed up at my first tent event, um, to help me set up. And right when, the setup time began, and they were just there, and, you know, and I actually didn't know that I needed the help. And they were there at the right time, and they were just wonderful, wonderful, friends. You can't ask for better friends. Um, when they just show up to help, and you never even asked, you didn't even know. And they knew how nervous I was, um, with the whole thing too. So I'm just want to express my gratitude to my friend Sharon. She's over in the YouTube chat. So welcome aboard, Sharon. And let's see here. I'm gonna and Sharon, I have a lot of people on my Rumble chat, and they are from my artist group on True Social, and I love them as much too. They're great people. So I'm gonna get some of this blocked in, um, with a beige, and kind of then take it from there. I may sneeze. I may. Excuse me. I am so sorry. There was no way I could prevent that. I'm so sorry. Ah, been a sneezy kind of day for me. I woke up with sinus pain, but thankfully it didn't last long. I'm going to lose a lot of the folds just blocking this in, but that's okay. I'm going to just touch some. I may have to stand up like I usually do. But yeah, just this stuff here I worked on the weekend and it's already dry. So interesting. Interesting. Can you see that okay? There we go. I need to get some Galkid. And Sherry, I sent out your Christmas card, by the way. Um, if you didn't get it today, you'll get it tomorrow. Um, so I hope you got it. And if you didn't, look for it in the mail. Thank you, Frosty. Like I said, I'm having a heck of an evening. but but yeah, so oh, this actually the fast track medium, there we go, is already working just fine there. Where's my cap? Um, but anyway, I was working on my website because like I said, I had gotten one up just to get up on the internet, and I never ran a store before. I had to get a store up because it was January 1, I think, of 2023. I think I've had it that long now. Where, an acquaintance from Truth Social wanted to buy one of my original my yellow watercolor rose. And they wanted a secure way, obviously, of procuring it. And so I had to get a store up and running in fast order. And boy, whew, that was a challenge. But you know what? It was a good challenge because it got me doing something that up until that point I wasn't doing because one, at the time I didn't need to because I didn't have any sales really. Um, and little did I know that I was going to have to learn how to get that stuff done. And and so I was rushing to get my paintings on the website, and and I wasn't optimized or anything like that. This whole arm might have to be pushed out a little bit, so you might see me kind of wreck this arm because it is actually not in the right spot. So I might have to repaint as I go. So if it doesn't look right, it's because I'm trying to fix it. The strap for her thing comes down. And there's actually on this side of, well, you can't see that because I am too zoomed in. Well, what the heck, Steph? I will. Okay, I have mobile listed as my. There we go. We'll move that over a little bit. And then let's see, camcorder. Let's see if I can move. There we go. Move that over a little bit so you can see. And I always muck around a little bit with these, but you can see this strap actually comes down. There's a whole bunch of shadow area here. And so, but on this side of the strap, there's some, she's got more, a thicker part of that. So her whole arm, I think, has to move. And I can't be afraid to do it. I had this all in, but it's not right. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, I'm I'm having issues, but anywho, I minimized my chat windows. Well, Art of Zen, when it comes to, oh, good, Sharon, you got the card. Great, 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 great. Um, when it comes to the website, if you don't get started before nothing says you have to publish it, Zen. You can get one started. I mean, you want to make sure that, uh, um, that you have your story to tell. People are interested in stories, or at least that's what the advice has been for me. And I'm not sure how many people are really interested in my story, but you know, I'm in it to win it, so what the heck, right? Um, but you want to get your story up. You want to form the gallery, a gallery of your work so people can kind of, not the actual store per se, but a gallery, you want to have maybe a blog if you're into that kind of thing. Sorry, I had to stop talking because I'm trying to work around the glare on my thing here. I got extra paint on my, there we go, um, brush. But I'm blocking in just the neutral tones here. There's a lot of navy, olive, dark green that has to come into play in some of these areas. Like this is actually a dark green. You can see here. I wonder what happened to my palette cam. Did it decide to die? There we go. But yeah, so you can see to the right of that strap, there's actually some more shoulder strapping, and then here there's dark olive greens and the like. So, so yeah, I have to move that arm, don't I? My palette cam doesn't want to seem to work as well tonight. I don't know what that is all about. I apologize, Frosty. I know you're a huge fan. Uh, well, I don't know about Rich. We're trying to just get a second income going between the two of us. And I have to say, it's been very, very slow going. We do have our supports. Like I said, Sherry has been a support both financially and in body and mind and spirit. And, it's wonderful to have all those kinds of supports. Let's see, maybe I need to get that olive drab green going too. So let's see here. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Let's see about trying to get an olive drab World War II green. What do you say? Alrighty. I don't know why um, my palette cam keeps freezing up, but let's see about trying to make a green. I'm not pulling out the phthalo green this time. It's a little too chrome. It got too much bright. It's phthalo. Phthalo usually indicates a um, really dark green, but bright. I don't know how to explain it. You guys know what I mean, though. I mean, the phthalo green that you see, the brightness, that's phthalo green, and I didn't want it that bright. Obviously, I need muted World War II colors. I think mixing yellow ochre with my ultramarine blue is going to give me the color I'm looking for. Let's see what that does. I'm going to use my filbert. Is anyone else painting tonight besides me, or are you just kind of hanging out and chatting with me? Zin just wants to be famous. I need to make money. I want to enjoy making art, but I need to make some money with it. Because, I mean, I know that there's a joy in doing art, so don't get me wrong, but I'm going to have to stand up so I can see what I'm doing. Uh, um, but I would like to sell prints. I would like, and I don't want to be one of those artists that does what is just popular. I mean, there are a lot of artists that are doing political artwork, and that's not me. I don't do political artwork. Um, um, I could easily probably do political artwork and maybe even make money off of it much faster than if I paint what I am passionate about. And that's just not a compromise I'm willing to make, I guess. I'm not, I know I wouldn't mind doing some fan art, but then of course it becomes what's legal, what's not. I don't even want to go in that realm. I really don't. So I'm trying to paint what I am passionate about, So my admirable masculinity series, where I celebrate. Now, some people could say that's political. It's so social. It's social commentary, if it's anything, because we're living in an age where men are demonized, and I am a big fan of man. Um, I've got wonderful sons. I got a wonderful husband. Uh, and seeing people demonize them simply because they're white or they're heterosexual or anything for any reason because they're male. I mean, that really makes me mad. So I'm gonna exalt the virtues of admirable masculinity, and I've got several men in my life that exhibit that. My husband, my sons, my dad, you know. Uh, but I'm doing it through iconic men in, like the rescuer, the fireman, the cowboy, that type of stuff. So, are you guys seeing this okay? Okay, you are. Now, all right, I'm getting ready to start moving this over. And it's very nerve-wracking, but now's the time to do it. I did get that murky green going. But, and then this is Nancy Wake, whom I had never heard of until recently when I was um, historical figures that you wouldn't necessarily know about, right? And that's the whole point. I mean, a lot of people knew about Queen Esther, but she's, a female. The fact that her books in the Bible was a scandal back in its day. Um, and the fact that it made it into canon um, also says a lot about things. And so, I just think that sometimes unsung. I guess it's about unsung heroes, really. I mean, I've never, for all the hype on feminism and such that I grew up in. I'm a child of the 80s, okay? And so, all right, here we go. I'm painting over the arm. I'm going to move the arm over. See what you're saying about the Winsor Newton Alkyd Griffin paints. Huh. Oh, so Frosty's painting. What are you painting tonight, Frosty? Sherry, um, the people in the Rumble chat from my art group on True Social are painters and artists as well. And they're always invited to paint alongside me, even though I can't see them. And Frosty uh, over there is a landscape painter mainly, but he does other things. But he's amazing. He's amazing. Art of Zen over there is. Did I pick up the right brush? Okay. Um, Gouache and colored pencil, and he does a lot of marine life. He was just on Lady Hamilton's show. We watched that, me and the husband unit. Um, so so yeah, it's just nice to have artists join you, and it's nice to have friends join in. So yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. I got a green. Maybe I need to tap this off. Oh, man. Nothing like painting over what you're supposed to paint over, right? Big majestic tree and rocks and lots of grass. Yes. And then Nancy, of course, she is amazing. She is she does a lot of nature and landscapes, and she's been on a kick doing planetary stuff. She did this um, space station painting. So, you know, uh, lots of talent in the group. Very, very happy to be a part of it. Very blessed to be amongst such an esteemed group of individuals. It's a little too bright. Nothing like, oops. You can always wipe it off. With oil paint, you can always wipe it off. How big is the canvas, Frosty? You say gigantic, but how big is gigantic for you? I'm just trying to block in shapes of color right now in this, and then I'll come in with smaller brushes for detail. So I'm just kind of I got glare. So if you see me moving around weird, I've got glare. I've got issues. There's a triangular kind of shaping here. 16 by 20. 16 by 20. I'm laughing because you say that's gigantic, and then it might be for you. But gigantic for me right now, the the biggest that I've done is the 24 by 36, whether landscape or profile, because my left unattended painting was that size. Um, the chef portrait of Ron, gets in trouble when left alone. You never leave the husband unit unattended. I'm sure that Mrs. Frosty could attest to that. Right. Um, you can see I'm holding the brush like this instead of like this. I'm actually very comfortable holding the brushes like this now. I don't know if I'll ever go bigger than 24 by 36. Every now and then I kind of give those big canvases in Hobby Lobby a once over. I'm looking at them and tempted, but then I realized I probably couldn't fit them in my car. I think that's one of the reasons why I actually haven't gone bigger. And the fact of the matter is, I don't know if these easels that I've got would actually support that either. So, so yeah. But yeah, gigantic for me is 24 by 36 or larger. Now, Lady Hamilton, she works on even bigger sizes. I don't know how she does that. What's your standard size, Zin, that you work in? You probably said it the other night when you were talking with Lady Hamilton, but I was also working on my website, so I was half paying attention. I apologize. Uh, I'm often multitasking because I have no other choice. I have a full time job, and then I'm trying to do this as a part time job, but I'm trying to put a lot of effort into getting it done, getting as much done as possible, and I really get this brown in there. This is a really dark area down here. Not afraid to get the darks in there. You can see. Oh, you know what? That you. Oh, yeah. For some reason, my palette cam keeps freezing. So I apologize, guys. I'm telling you, things aren't working normal for some reason. Don't know why. But yeah, this comes across. There's some dark down here. And it comes across. But yeah, here's the picture. You can see kind of what I'm doing. You see that? I'm just trying to get the stuff blocked in. And then later I'll come in with a more fine brush. Smaller for more detail. Let's see about moving this arm over. Moving the arm. Surgical action going on here. Yes, sir. Certainly not medical surgical. You don't want me doing that. Do you teach others how to paint? My grandson is learning how to paint with oils. Ah, I actually don't teach. I teach in other things, but art I don't teach. Um, I mean, I guess I could, um, but there are such better teachers than me. Um, I don't feel qualified to be a teacher. I've got a degree in art, which, sounds strange to hear me, someone with a degree in art, um, saying I don't feel qualified to teach art or to teach how to paint, and I don't. Um, because sometimes I feel like I'm feeling my own way. I mean, I have obviously, because I got a degree, I've got certain basic skills from decades ago that I can rely upon. But in all actuality, um, I've learned more on YouTube from other artists than I ever did working from what I was being taught um, in university. So, um, which kind of tells you it's an actual commentary on university costs, degrees, things like that. Just you can learn so much more just from watching YouTube. Now, I'm not saying every YouTube video is worthy of your time, but anything that you actually can learn from a YouTube video is. Because if you learn something, then it did its job, especially if they claim to. And I'm a degreed artist. I have a degree. And I have to say, I gotta get more paint on my. Okay, my palette cam's still working. Um, I don't know if I'd feel confident teaching anyone else, but if your grandson, and how old is your grandson, Sherry? Uh, your grandson wanted to learn how to paint in oils. I guess I could give him, some basics. Maybe share some of the videos that I've seen and learned from that maybe would help. Uh, I could do that. I know. I guess I'd have to play it by ear. Let's see here. Mix in some more. Yeah, my palette cam keeps freezing. Don't care for that. Now, the other thing you could do, Sherry, is if your grandson's interested, is your grandson local? Um, there's a lady in town. Well, she doesn't work in oils. She works in acrylics. I was about to say, there's a lady in town that has an art store, and she does those paint and sips, and she works in acrylics. Um, let me see. Um, she works in acrylics, so she might not be. But if you wanted to learn painting techniques to start, I guess you could potentially start there. I gotta do this is down here. He's 14. Okay, so well, it's a good time to learn. And is he local, Sherry? Is he local? because that could also make a difference in terms of helping him. He could come over or he can join in on these live streams and kind of see what I'm doing as I explain it as well. I'm resituating this this armband has a army green and then the red, white, and what have you. So I'm going to be moving that down. So yeah, I'm blocking this in. It's looking like a mess right now. That's okay. Because in the end, I'll get it all straightened out. But yeah, if he's local and he wants to learn how to do oils, I would say, if he doesn't already look up stuff on YouTube, you could probably come over here if you wanted him to, and I could try to steer him in a direction. Okay, and so this army green band actually comes down here. So yeah, I'm repainting this arm, as you can tell. Don't be afraid to repaint, right, guys? Don't be afraid to repaint because oils are very forgiving that way. Oils are very forgiving. At the high school and the Creative Arts Guild. Well, yeah. So, and I don't know what they teach at the high school. Part of me thinks they probably wouldn't do oils at the high school, maybe for, chemical and, environmental reasons, but maybe I'm wrong. I certainly don't think they ever offered um, oil painting in high school for me, and I was at a pretty prestigious high school back in my day. If there was a high school in the area that I went to school in that would have offered oil painting, it would have been the school I was in. I was fortunate to be able to get into that school. Um, but I'm just looking at it on the screen, the painting. But the Creative Arts Guild would probably teach it. I don't. I'm usually tuned into what they're doing. They do dancing and music, and for the people in the chat in Rumble, Sherry's grandson is 14 and he's interested in learning art. And we do have the Creative Arts Guild. If you've seen me talk about the Creative Arts Guild, it's the location where I do the art show every September. I submit my artwork to, um, and it's on display that whole month and a half at the Creative Arts Guild, which is a um, organization that brings the arts to the Northwest Georgia area, Dalton in particular. Um, and they really do cater to kids. So that is definitely actually a good idea because if there is any place that kind of brings it home for the kids to learn, they would. So, but there we go. Her arm, her arm's really dark here, and I'm not really getting that right now, but let's see here. It's hard to see. Yep. Palette cam. For some reason, my phone keeps going off. I wonder why. There we go. I'm mixing some ultramarine blue with my burnt umber to get this really dark. Of course, you see the glare I'm dealing with, but this shadowy area. So I'm not sure why my mobile phone keeps, it's almost like the screensaver is still on somehow or some way. Not sure why that is. It doesn't do that in other live streams. So I don't know. Oh, Alpi Effie. Yeah, he's one of those. Uh, on YouTube, Sherry, Alpi Effie would be a good one, a good mentor for him. He's okay with providing tips and things, and really a good idea, I would say. I'm going to get some more burnt umber deep. Yeah. So yeah, I would say, have him search out artists that he likes on YouTube and watch videos there. Get technique and basics from the Creative Arts Guild, and or um, hang out with me, an old fogey um, who barely knows what she's doing. I laugh, but but yeah, because again, ultramarine blue with burnt umber deep really gets you a nice dark color. I don't use black typically because it's too dark, and it really takes away, you really want to try to do color even in muted ways. Um, but yeah, if you want to suggest, I mean, do you know what he likes to paint, Sherry? Then I just saw your response on your sizes. You do work small, but when I see your images on the show, they're obviously projected to be bigger, but they're really small, huh? Uh, yeah, I can't work that small. I mean, I can, like my Christmas card image is small, but man, uh, just trying to get this label. Oh, all right, so I moved that, and so I got more there of the no. Oh, okay, you don't know what he likes to paint. Um, oh, um, also, did you still want me to do a painting of your puppy dog, Sharon, Jerry? Because just wondering what happened with that. Not that I'm good at painting animals, but I'm not opposed to trying. Let's see. Let's move on to her face. Let's do that. Okay, this is still working. I'm just touching the screen on my palette cam. I'm going to back up a little bit and focus the camera on her face. I'll try to work on that a little bit more. Yeah, if I knew what he liked to paint, Sherry, Maybe I could direct him to some artists, creators on YouTube that he could model after. But I would say he's got to get a foundation in drawing. I mean, unless he's abstract. If he likes abstract, I don't know if I would be helpful for him. I can't identify with the abstract so much. Um, so I struggle with that myself. Um, but but yeah, you want to have, trying to see this without the glare. This is, you got a haircut? Did he not have one before? Oh, oh, your puppy dog. Okay. I've got to get a picture of him. Maybe I can try it. I make no promises, Sherry. Hello, Nellie Bean. And True Survivor Cinema. Hello, hello. I am a starter, by the way. Well, hello. Welcome to the stream. A bunch of individuals joined in on Rumble. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just talking to a friend on the YouTube chat who's got a grandson who's interested in learning to paint. And so this is, I'm doing some rework here. So it looks like a complete mess, and it is. But welcome. Um, yep. I'm trying to, I got lots of glare here. I may have to adjust my easel, which may make it glary for you guys. Well, I can see much better that way. You guys can't so much, huh? Let's see. I will adjust that camera a little bit more and make sure my palette cam is still working. But yeah, for you guys who just joined, I'm painting Nancy Waite, a World War II hero that, of course, you don't hear much about, or I never did anyway. When I was in school, I never heard about her. Uh, so, so yeah, sometimes you just gotta bring to life the people that you've never heard about, right? Right. So, so yeah, welcome everybody that's joined. I'm trying to reestablish where things are with this painting. I wish I had music, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm still learning how to do this live stream stuff. Um, but yeah, if Sherry, if you want me to do your puppy dog, then we just gotta connect offline, off of a live stream here, and see about maybe um, getting a picture of your puppy dog. I love puppy dogs. I'm a big dog fan. So, any other dog fans in the house? We're also cat people now, by the way, because we rescued a feral kitty cat whose name is Mama Cat. She had taken up residence in a wood pile behind our house 3 years ago. She had just given birth to kittens, and she wasn't much more older than the kittens. You know, she was just so tiny, and someone had taken a shot at her because she had an injury down the side of her um, um, body. And so the husband and I looked at each other and said, "Well, we got to take care of her. We got to take care of her." And Now she's made her way into the house, and she is now our kitty cat. They said that, cats, if they've been feral for too long, can't acclimate to being inside the house. But that is not true, at least not for our kitty cat. So, hey, JJ, welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you're just joining and you want to know who I'm painting or what I'm painting about, um, I am painting about uh, this World War II hero ally. She was a woman that would parachute in and kill Nazis, real Nazis, the kind of Nazis that are German and hateful. Because I know the word Nazi gets thrown around nowadays willy-nilly, but I'm talking World War II Nazis, and apparently she was so good at what she did that she killed a Nazi with her bare hands. Now, I don't know if that's lore, like, you know, not really true. It's just kind of what was made up about her, or if it was true. I don't have that history yet. But my plan is to render her on this canvas as a hero to the Ally cause. She they had put a bounty on her head. Um, she was that effective, the Gestapo. And did my palette cam go out? No, okay. But they never caught her. But apparently, she was married and she had gone off to other parts of the war front, I guess. And the husband stayed behind, and the Nazis caught up with him. I think this was in France. She was originally from New Zealand, by the way, and but she served in behind French lines, I guess. You could look her up. She is called Nancy Wake. The thing about oils is you can wipe it away, but getting her face kind of, you can see I got her eyes kind of coming in nice. Um, you can always smudge with your finger. I'm using, what happens is I get used to using one size brush and it's too big for the area of the face that I'm working on. So I need to switch up my brushes. So I'll go back to right now. I had to stop talking for a second. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, I'm blocking in areas. That actually looks better, even though it looks a little messed up. All right, maybe I need to move on to a smaller brush. Let's see. This is my reference photo I'm using, if you can see that. It's a muted greenish reds and beiges of the World War II. And so, yeah, you can see that my painting started off pretty vibrant, but that's just the background. Hey, there we go. This is awesome subject background. Oh, thank you, JJ. Yeah, she was called. She earned a nickname, the White Mouse, and she apparently used all kinds of tools in her tool chest to um, accomplish what she did. Um, and you can imagine what some of that would have been, being a woman. She was apparently very um, accomplished. Let's just put it that way. That does not look right, Steph. Get that. But yeah, um, she she was never caught. They put out a what's up here is a wanted poster that did actually circulate in that time from the Gestapo that put a 5 million franc bounty on her head, and even still, they did not. They never caught her. Sharon, I can, if you want, Sharon. Sharon's over in my YouTube chat. Um, Sharon, if you want me to, I can come over and take his picture. And I got a nice camera. I can come over if that's more comfortable for you. And you know, I'm happy to do it. You just let me know. Just let me know. So yeah, um, Nellie Bean, and I'm a starter, by the way. You guys that joined in, tell me about you. Would love to know more about who you are and all that jazz. Aha. I actually, behind her chin, there's actually bricks here. I gotta get bricks laid in. Huh. All right, Stephanie. Pay attention to what you're doing, lady. Yeah, that's me. Thinking that talking to myself and giving myself a pep talk's gonna be all right, y'all. Give me the pep talk. Tell me what I'm doing. Let's see here. My palette cam went dark again. All right, very nice. I'll have to fix that. I'll have to fix that. It's something to do with this phone. It's an old phone. There we go. Sorry about the palette. Palette cam keeps going out, and I don't know why, where before it hasn't. So I'll turn this easel back momentarily. Um, I can't see because of the glare of my lights when I'm painting on it and when it's angled towards the cameras. And I'm not experienced with this live streaming business. I'm not very good at it. So I apologize in advance for my amateur hour. Eventually I'll get better at it, I'm sure. The more I do it, I guess the more practice I'll get. And what I want to accomplish, I'm jumping lily pads here, so jump with me. Um, I want eventually this whole thing to be more muted, but her red lips, her red armband, and the red on the cigarette, I do all want that to be um, more prominent in terms of chroma. So yeah, and I do need to get that armband looking like that, but let me see if I can turn this towards the camera so you can all see. Hello, Drawing with Edge. And this is my reference that I'm using if you're joining. This is Nancy Wake. This is a real wanted poster And this is a map that had X's of where she struck, and she would often parachute in. Um, and she was so effective that the Nazis put essentially a hit out on her, a reward for her to be um, captured, no doubt um, to take her out of commission because she was so effective. Apparently, somebody worth looking up historically, because I feel like, excuse me, she's worth painting. Um, and I don't know about all you, but I didn't learn about her in school, so I'm not sure why. Huh, that is still a little too dark. Um, but yeah, I definitely like to read about historical figures I've never heard of, and and try to understand what it is they did that earned them some accolades. And the other thing I'd like to know is why I didn't learn about them. You know what I mean? Uh, why why was this person never taught to me as a student in school? Let's see here. Welcome, everybody. Hello. Well, guys, thank you for coming into my chat and my live stream. I'm so grateful. So, thank you. Yeah, Frosty was saying in the chat that the old man, her husband, got caught and by the Nazis, and he was tortured and then killed. He was executed. Um, but they never did catch her. Um, so she was pretty wily too, from what I understand. She in some of her interviews, she kind of said it like no filter. You know what I mean? Like she had no filter. Uh, which I guess if you're in the business of killing Nazis, I can understand not having a filter, right? I guess I wouldn't have a filter if I was killing Nazis either. I'd be like, yeah, you all deserve it because you guys are evil. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see it a little better. But already the face is looking, again, I'm getting to a point where there you go. Whoop, let me go this way. Now you can see. Now you can see. So yeah, thank you for everybody. Yeah, the painting is starting to shape up, isn't it? So I do have, if you can see, I'm going to show you the palette cam. All right. So right here, that's actually brick behind her. And I don't have that represented. So I need to get brick. And if you follow the line down, yeah, there should be brick here. So I do need to get that represented. So we'll take some of this burnt sienna and some of this muted beige. Get some bricks running that. You guys can't see because my big fat head is in the way. Sorry, sorry, sorry. I'm just putting some color, blocking it in. I will do some more detail work when it's not so wet. But this is So this is the brickwork, and her neck actually starts under her chin. So this is the time to make corrections in the composition when you realize you've taken the arm too close in or forgot the bricks behind her chin, things like that. But yeah, I could probably do some work on her hand. So I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see that real quick. Let's see here. The hand with the cigarette. Cigarettes. I do not advise cigarettes. Just so you know, this is not an endorsement of smoking. If that's bad for you, it is bad for your lungs. But she looks really cool smoking the cigarette, which would go along with the World War II time frame where cigarettes was kind of more glamorous. Of course, now we know better, don't we? Let's see here. So I want to try to get some shadows in here. There's a this. Yeah, I got a smaller brush here. And again, this is just kind of blocking in shadow areas. And this is in oils, so anyone who's new, who's wondering what I'm, what I'm not using, I am not using acrylics. This has been all oil painting. Oil paints tend to be a lot more forgiving in the end, anyway. You can always paint over them. I know this seems kind of odd and awkward looking, but I will get in here and refine this later, I guess. I'm trying to down here is a shadow from her finger. Yeah, definitely trying to get things kind of situated. Trying to lay down where things are. And then there's actually that comes down this way. So yeah, Nancy Wake, interesting character, worthy of a Google search. And she's going to be part of my lesser known historical series. Those that impacted their culture um, that you might not know about. That's not looking too bad. It's a little rough. You guys are great. Thank you, JJ, for joining. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I just want you to know I'm very, very grateful. But in the spirit of what I've done in the past live streams, I'm a little reluctant to do it now because y'all joined. But it's kind of what I do is I start at 8 and I go to about 9:30 because I'm mindful of time. Uh, Not only for you guys, but for myself. And I try to recap. Let me back out my camera so you can see the picture, the painting in totality. So, and I'll talk a little bit about where I started since you're all so new. Let's see here. I got this handy dandy remote control. Let's see. And there you go. My palette cam keeps going out. Let's see here. Now you can see all over. There we go. So yeah, and she would parachute in. So she's got a parachute. I was working on this earlier, blocking in the muted colors and the like. And I had to move this arm over. It was a little bit more over this way. I had to push it out a little bit, which is what you can do when the painting is early on in stages. She's standing in front of a cafe window, brick on that. This is going to be a map of where she struck. This is going to be the bounty poster from the Gestapo. And in this window is reflections of street lamps. It's evening, so she's being illuminated from the street lamps. So um, that's why you see that she's got a lot of light on her. Um, but JJ, you're awesome. Thank you for joining and all that stuff. Let me sit down for a second. But yeah, she was nicknamed the White Mouse, and she lived beyond the finish of the war. I'm gonna go ahead and minimize my chat windows for a second. I'm turning off palette cam. Sorry, Frosty. Hi, everybody. Uh, uh, but yeah, I'll put the chats up there. But yeah, so that's what she's all about. Is and why I'm doing her. Um, she's gonna. This is on a 24-inch by 30-inch canvas, and I typically work at that size or a little larger. Um, and then I'm also looking to get started on another painting for my Admirable Masculinity series. I was thinking I would do the coal miner, but I'm actually not sure if I'm feeling that yet. So I've got to come up with a composition and get started. I've got 18 by 24 and another Frosty. This will give you a heart attack, I think. Same with Zin, but 24 by 36. This is the same size I did my dancer painting on. This is slightly larger than what I'm currently working on, but I do work bigger. I like bigger. Um, I like bigger brush strokes and the like, so I tend to do that. Uh, you guys are awesome. I am so grateful. You really, I mean, I know. I'm going to turn this over so I'm not kicking it. Let's see. Um, my I just want you to know I'm grateful for you guys joining. Frosty, Nancy, Zin, and everybody who joined later. Um, I'm grateful. Thank you for dropping in. Thank you for your support. I am I'm in my 50s. That's all you need to know. And I'm just getting started in art these last couple of years. And I'm trying to make a go of it. And I am no videographer. I barely pull off these live streams by the skin of my teeth. I kid you not. You could go back to the beginning where I talk about how I was getting everything set up, and 20 minutes before start time, my laptop decides to restart with a Windows 11 update. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I didn't even get a warning window, no pop up, nothing. I had to reset everything in a hurry. So, I mean, when things go wrong for me, it's usually pretty bad. So, thank you so much. I'm going to hopefully try to get this shored up in the next week to 2 weeks tops because she's coming along nicely. She's really kind of popping out. Things are starting to really get situated. Um, but I'm also one of those that keeps tinkering with it because I think I'm not done. And then I screw something up and then have to repaint again. So if you're like that, then you understand exactly what I'm talking about. And if you aren't like that and you're pretty happy when, with your progress, I'm working my way to that kind of attitude. But in the meantime, I'm glad you're along the ride with me on this painting. And usually I'll tell you guys what I'm painting next before anyone else knows on any other social media platform. I kind of spill the beans in these live streams. I can't keep a secret when it comes to what I'm doing because, I usually share because I need support or advice or suggestions. I'm very unsure of my journey right now, but I'm trying. So thank you everybody for joining in. Thank you for the support. And I'm going to be working on this probably next Wednesday. If I don't finish it over this weekend, uh, I may try to do that. And then I might be starting something brand new. But next Wednesday at 8, I'm back here doing another live stream. So like and subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm actually 25, I'm at 75 followers on Rumble. And once you hit 100 followers on Rumble, you can then be qualified to their content creator program. I forget what they call it, where I think you can go monetize. So I'm only 25 away from hitting that minimum. So if you're not subscribed to my Midlife Artist channel, please subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it just for the numbers, even if you don't watch me, just subscribe. I'll take anything. I know it sounds desperate, but I am trying, and I need a little momentum going. So yeah, help me out. Share my channel, share my live stream, encourage others to join. I'd really like to hit that minimum 100 subscribers on Rumble. I'd like to also get more followers on YouTube. YouTube lags behind my Rumble activity. But yeah, thank you so much uh, for for the chat and for the paint along. I really really appreciate it. You guys have a wonderful wonderful night, and I will see you next week.